Hello and welcome to the International Racing League here in Suzuka at round 11. Starting the lap now. For turn 1, you want to turn in just before the 50 metre board. Down to 3rd, short 25th on the exit. Here you want to guess where to turn in, chucking the car in down to 5th. Down to 3rd. The next rotation, short 25th on the exit. For Degner 1 you want to turn in just after the 100 metre board down to 6th. Degner 2 down to 2nd, short 4th on the exit. For the hairpin you want to brake where the curb ends on the right. Down to 1st, short 23rd on the exit. And here you want to stay to the right for the shorter run up to Spoon, where you want to brake at the 50 metre board. Down to 4th and then 3rd. Staying to the left after 130R. Now for the brake at the 100 metre board. Clobber both curbs. Stay in 4th to avoid spinning on the bump, and run up to line for 26.8. Staying to the left.
Welcome to International Racing League Season 7 F1 Tier Round 11 at Japan. I am your commentator IRL Neon. I am also joined by my co-commentator Kevin Harrison. As you just saw then, the hot lap of Matthew Alder going around the track at Japan. And right now we are going to talk about the standings. At the moment, as the championship has been decided, Matthew Alder did win the championship in the Williams with 169 points. Jay finished in 2nd as the runner-up then with 102 points, but has lost his seat for the final 2 rounds since he's been banned for dangerous driving. Jack Laverty is in 3rd in the McLaren with 84 points. Cameron Young 4th with Williams with 78 points. Wonder if Cameron Young could try and get to 2nd place in the driver's standings. Pedro is in 5th with 169 points. Matthew Collins, who's actually retired, in 63 points in 6th. Brandon Glover in 7th with 61 points. Diego in 8th with 51 points. Tyron Baron Collingwood, who also retired this season, with 51 points. Ollie Favell is 1 point behind them in 10th with 50 points. Let's now move on to the constructors. The constructors team then for Williams have 247 points. I think they can win the title today in the constructors. Mercedes 2nd with 163. McLaren in 3rd with 134, so if Mercedes starts struggling, McLaren could try a challenge to Mercedes. Renault in 4th with 120, Haas in 5th with 66, Ferrari in 6th with 63, Racing Point in 7th with 54 points, Toro Rosso in 8th with 45 points, and then Red Bull in 25 points in 9th, and Alfa Romeo in 10th with 11 points. So now we will move on to the track information. Number of laps around this circuit for today's race is 27 laps. The fastest lap from last season was from Louis Welsh with a 128.9 from the F1 tier. The F2 tier was a 130.3. The F3 was from Callum Anderson with a 32.2. There's 18 corners, track length 5.8 kilometers or 3.6 miles. Previous winner was Louis Welsh, who won in F1. Matthew Collins won it in F2, and Sandor Harog in F3. Apologies if I did get that name wrong. Tyre compounds which will be used possibly today are soft, medium and hard, but I think it's a soft medium strategy. Altogether there is 18 corners around this circuit, only 1 DRS zone, but there's going to be a lot of overtaking opportunities through the beginning of turn 1 through turn 11, and also the entry of turn 14 and 15. Could see possibly high speed overtaking manoeuvres from these drivers today, as the wet and intermediate tyre could also possibly be used, but the chances of rain today they're going to be slim compared to what Britain will be like, as Britain is usually raining, as it's not the best weather in that country, but it could rain in Japan. Now we will wait for the drivers to get ready to start readying up soon for quali. However, Kevin, have you got any information, more information to add of the Japan circuit?
Well, obviously, Japan usually kicks up quite a good race. Could see some people potentially spinning or getting it wrong in sector 1, very twisty, but really satisfying if you can get it perfectly right. Obviously, Jay, as you said, isn't here. That shakes up the battle for second quite a bit. Of course, Cameron Young could come through and take that second place off Jay and get Williams 1-2 in the championship, which would mean they got everything they could have possibly got out of the season, apart from, I think, a 1-2, which I don't think they've done yet still. And with Jay out, it could be a very good chance for them to go and grab that. Of course, you also have the long back straight that always does promote some overtaking, especially through 130R. Very difficult to leave space though, and yeah, could see some very good racing. And as I said, second is still up for grabs.
Well, that is true, of course, and the person who will be placing Jay today is Dainstar, who actually raced last season in IRL, but then I believe he couldn't make the times and something like that. But he has returned, so he could help the Mercedes team. As hello Jamie, I am alright, and hello Luke Baker from F3. As now we are loading in to the qualifying, and it's going to be very interesting what the weather's going to be like. As I said, could possibly be rain, could possibly just be dry all weekend. Rain could spice up a little bit while we wait for everyone to ready up. As we have loaded into the lobby, qualifying has begun. And there is 17 drivers here today then, and the weather looks quite cloudy. Could possibly brighten up near the end, also could actually darken and possibly rain.
Yeah, and I guess before people start getting out on track, Jared, maybe we could do our predictions. I guess you go first and then I'll go after.
Yeah, that's sure. Well then, prediction then. I think Matthew's going to take pole. It is a wheel track, of course, and he has the advantage. But I think his teammate Cameron's going to take second, with possibly both McLarens in third and fourth, with Jack Laverty in third and Ollie Pavel in fourth. And that's my prediction for today in qualifying.
I would be saying the same for Paul, as actually both Williams come out at the exact same time, so maybe they're trying to give each other 6 string. Although it's not easy trying to do so. Yeah, I would say Matthew Rowland is going to take the pole. No Jay here today, of course, so I'm going to say Jack Laverty in second. I'll put Voss in third and Cameron in fourth.
Okay then, that is your prediction. I've just got to quickly alter some because the audio was a bit too loud. That should have fixed it now. But yeah, I think your prediction could be also right. If you guys want to let us know your guys' predictions in the comments, do let us know. So right now we can see the Williams team possibly doing another amazing set of teamwork. As both Racing Point cars of Lewis Curtis and Voss are out on track. Jay got a 2-race ban, Luke, for his actions in Italy, which he's accepted and he understands. He will be back next season in the F1 tier. As right now though, we are on the board with Voss, who I believe actually... Oh no, yeah, he is in the right car, in the Racing Point then. Possibly will be scoring points for the Racing Point team as he knocks that bollard out of the way. And he's about to begin his lap then. and his lap has now started. Let's see how he can take turn 1 then. Nice and tidy through there. Brake as late as possible. Let's see how you can take the tricky S section, which you've got to get right. If you make one little error, you can lose a lot of time. As there was the others there in sector 3, I believe that was one of the Renaults or the Ferrari. Although Voss is picking up the pace, and let's see what his split in sector 1 is. A 32.3 then. His first sector. Don't know if that's good enough. As there's more yellows in sector 3, and someone's actually lost it through the fast left-hander there. And that's Lewis Curtis. Lewis Curtis has lost it looks like. And is waiting so he can move out of the way and not get disqualified. Although we'll stay on board with Voss then, as he's made a nice tidy lap at the moment. Still hasn't pushed that much. He's in ERS mode 3, so he's saving a bit of his ERS there. As now he's approaching 130R. Down the big long back straight through 130R then. Now this is where Senna and Prost had their moment. As here comes Voss then, probably the final chicane. He can't cut that chicane in the quali. As here he comes then to the line. It's a 128.4. Currently original pole.
Yeah, he's obviously also on the mediums. Few people opting for the mediums, so maybe some people might think if they can get a good enough lapping straight away, as Cameron Young goes second with 28.5, so pretty close between the two. But if some people maybe think they can get a good lap in straight away, they may stick with the mediums. As then Ash puts in a 27.8 softs. Everyone basically setting their bankers. Sandre, a little bit off the pace, it seems, on softs. Maybe made a mistake. I assume he did. I would be expecting him to be better.
Yeah, he probably did make a mistake there, especially with a 28.9. His teammate's done a 28.7 though. Maybe that's their pace in the Toro Rosso today's. Devin in the Alfa Romeo, sorry, in the Ferrari, I apologise for that, did a 28.5, as Mikey Collins, as I said, is no longer in the Ferrari anymore since he has retired. I believe Matthew Order was on another lap then. He's actually out of fuel, so he actually isn't on a lap. I don't believe anyone else is actually on a lap, like a good lap at the moment. We might go on board with Brandon Glover then, who should be beginning his lap very shortly. We'll actually go on board with a Red Bull driver. He's currently 13th with no laps set on the soft tyre. Let's see how he takes the first sector then. Nice tyre through the S section, goes down the gears a bit too early for my liking actually. He went to 4th gear instead of 5th, he goes 4th gear again. Very interesting, he's probably not got enough downforce for the high-speed corners, and he's about to lose the car on the grass there. Good save. Could have ended in disaster, could have lost his wheel, could have lost his front wing there. And that was very unfortunate, that's backed off his lap, as we will go on board with Brandon, Kevin, if you want to go on board on his lap.
Yeah, so through turns 3 and 4, he gets bumped quite a bit in both, trying to maximise the amount of track he can use, staying off that grass. And that's through turns 5 and 6, through turns 7. Got to get a very good exit. It is difficult to do that, especially in the race. Now through I've the first Degner, and through the second one. I'm pretty sure both of them are called Degner 1 and Degner 2. Now coming up to the hairpin, we want to go down to first gear and short shift to third. He hasn't actually done that. He stayed in second, and you can see the traction wasn't as good there, so that will hinder him slightly on the exit and all the way down to Spoon corner. And now he's gonna have to get a good exit, because this is one of the last bits that he can gain time. Not many places left to lap chicane left, going through 130R now. Let's see what he can do coming through the final 2 corners. He cuts it ever so slightly, think. It seems like the game's just about loud, and as he gets up on the bump, and he's gonna come across the line, he doesn't actually set a time.
Yeah, unfortunately that did actually invalidate his time there as he cut the corner, and I can't remember what time he did. It looked a strong time, possibly for him, but it might have been a banker. Bran is one of these people who will just bank his first run and then get a good second run in. As there's a lot of cars leaving the pit lane right now, both Ferraris, one of the Alphas, one of the Haas, one of the McLarens, and one of the Toro Rossos. As I believe, is anybody else on a lap? Lewis Curtis might be on a lap, and yes he is. Lewis Curtis is on a lap then, so we'll go on board with Lewis Curtis right now, who's passing turn 12. See how he takes it. Nice and flat, no errors there, goes up to 8th gear. There's one of Toros there's moving away from the Ferrari, it looks like. So we've got through turns 13 and 14. As you say, you've got to get a good exit through here because you can lose a lot of time. Probably a better exit than what Bran had. As now he's coming up to 130R. Nice and tied there, didn't even have to lift to make that corner. Into the chicane. Hopefully he doesn't cut it like Bran did, and he doesn't, he keeps it within track limits. And he is coming to the line. What time will it be? As there's a big load of traffic ahead, and he goes 6th with a 128.2. And Ollie Flavel at the moment is running on medium.
Yeah, I was going to mention Ollie Flavel. Didn't look like he had any issues with the bump either. He seems to rev his gearbox a little bit more to get around it, and he sets to 28.1 just behind his teammate on the harder tires. So it seems like he's doing quite well on those mediums, and maybe he is looking to start on them.
That is true, of course. Is that Cameron? No, that's Matthew Older. Is Matthew Older on an... Are these all on outlaps behind Matthew? Yeah, they actually are, and they're keeping quite with him. It could cost a few of the drivers further behind. As one of the Toro Rossos have gone. Is that the Bottle Haug? It is the Bottle Haug. He has gone off through turn 7/8. He's gone completely off the track there. And unfortunately, I didn't catch that. And he won't be happy, and he'll have gravel on those fresh set of tyres, and he will need to go back into the pits.
Yeah, I see who you were talking about there.
The Sondra, the bottle himself. As one of the rounds looks like he's on a fast lap. I think that is Ash or Rich. No, it's actually Pedro.
Oh, Sondre's gone. He hasn't completely lost it, but on the curb, exiting Spoon, he did get into a little bit of a spin. I'm glad I caught it, honestly. You're talking about Bottle Haug, and of course he's showing it.
Oh, Cameron Young's actually showing some pace. Actually, he's done a new fast lap, 27.6. He now takes provisional pole, and his teammate Matthew Older is in 17th. Not set a lap time yet. So could this be Cameron Young's day to beat Matthew at his own game? Matthew does have the advantage at this track.
Yeah, I mean, he's as Devon actually sets 27.7 there. Goes pretty much a 10th away from him. But yeah, Cameron, he's been close to wins. I know he has got a second place or two, as Jack Levity beats him then with a 27.5, so the times certainly are improving as we get closer to the end of this qualifying session. As actually, you can see there, Cameron is giving his teammate slipstream, and of course his teammate is on the lap, that's Matthew Older. See what time he can do coming through the final part of the track, final chicane. Up to the line, and he is going to set a 27.0, so miles faster than anyone else at the moment.
That is true. And Pedro then comes to the line. He does a 127.9. And actually Jack Lavity also improves, so Cameron now drops to 3rd place. And then Voss improves, 27.3. So even with Matthew's fast lap, they're not that far off from Matthew's pace. And we weren't expecting anything different from Matthew trying to get it on pole position. As I think Dan's actually about to start his lap. He's actually on a lap right now. Brandon then, nice and tight through sector 1. Just got a Red Bull ahead of him. Oh, the Red Bull goes off now. And into the hairpin corner Brandon goes. But still there, a little save from Sandra, as you guys can see on the replay. As Brandon is on a good lap, it looks like, Kevin. I think Brandon may be near the top, possibly 6th, possibly 4th, maybe even 3rd right now. He's really pushing that Mercedes. A little bit of traffic, just probably going to get a little bit of slipstream. As now comes through 130R.
Not be able to affect him anymore.
As he's purple apparently in sector 2, so is Brand finally being told by the Mercedes he has to pick up the pace. And basically try and do what Jay can do. Because here comes Brand then, to the line. What time will it be? It's going to be a 28.3, so the deltas were actually wrong, and he only goes 13th. It's disappointing for him.
With Jay not here, obviously it's disadvantage for Mercedes. It means that a bit more weight is on Brand's shoulders to try and
apparently in sector 2, so is Brand.
To Williams, but I mean, you can see Williams pretty much where you expect him to be. Matthew on pole and his teammate in fourth, not too far off him. So yeah, I think it's going to be quite a task if Mercedes wants to bring the challenge and the fight to Williams. But yeah, right now it's not looking good for him.
That's true, and also I've just been sent a message by the boss. Can you do the tweet? If you can. As Lewis Kurtz there makes a mistake in the chicane. And that's costing him. Yep, that is fine. So Kevin will be back very shortly. And there he saw little Lewis's mistake, and that would have cost him his medium time. His current best lap is on the softs with a 128.2, so he did try and beat that on the mediums. And the only person who has beaten their lap on mediums is Ollie, and Ollie's currently in 10th with a 28.1. As the next car on an outlap, I believe, is an Alfa Romeo. I believe that's Jamie Morris, so we'll give Jamie Morris a bit of screen time, see if he can learn from his 2 mistakes he's had this last weekend and the weekend before that. In Britain, he spun in the quali in the pit lane and got disqualified. In Italy, I believe he had some issues or something, and he's currently 8th. As here comes Jamie then, through the final 2 corners, will begin his lap then. Let's see how he can take nice and tidy sector 1. He's now approaching 205 miles an hour. Into turn 1 he goes, brakes down to 4th gear. Into turn 2, nice and tidy exit. These cold conditions will work on the soft tyre a bit better than the mediums. Drops to 4th there, again jumps back, short shifts to 5th gear, and he doesn't go to 4th. Yeah, actually, yes, he does. So a lot of people are struggling with the downforce then around a few of these corners now, as he's now approaching turn 8 and 9. A very tricky section you've got to get right. Possibly could have cut a little bit more on that. The yellow's dead ahead. That is a racing point in the hairpin. Let's get a nice onboard view. See how his exit is. Nice and tidy exit there. Climbs back up the gears. Oh, the race point almost gets in his way there. That was very close. And I believe that was Lewis Curtis. Unless it might have been Voss. I will check on that, because that racing point really got in the way there of the Alpha. And also you guys will be seeing a replay very shortly, as Jamie Morrison is coming to the line, sorry, the chicane, and then he's going to come up to the line. Let's see what time he will, as the race point is really stationary. We turn 13 and 14. Is this being a good lap for Jamie? He's currently 8th, and he goes 5th, 27.6, 2 3 quarters up on his time. It's almost 3/10 there, and he's in 5th place. Could he be a challenger for a podium today? As next we will go on board with Devin. I believe he was next up. As He's now coming to the chicane. He's got a bit of traffic ahead of him. Hopefully these cars don't get in his way. Jack Lampsey now is about to begin his lap. As now he's coming through the final corner and he doesn't finish the lap. He pits. He didn't think that lap was good enough, and that is his qualifying over. As now we will go on board with, I believe the next driver who was next was actually Lewis Curtis. Or was it Danestar? Might have been Danestar. He's currently almost 5 tenths up on his time. So that's Dane then coming to the line. 28.1 goes 10th. So he in the Mercedes. I don't think he's got the full seat yet, but right now he's showing that he could be a possible Mercedes driver next season, possibly with Bran. He's already showing that he's a bit quicker than Bran at the moment, who's currently in 14th. As Ollie, Devin and Dinstar all have finished with their laps as quality times are finishing up. As now we'll go on board with Jamie Morris, I believe, peeling to the pits then. I don't believe his lap will be... Yeah, he's coming into the pits then. So we'll go on board with Diego, who's currently 500 up on his time. Let's see what he's up in Sector 2. Almost 3 tenths up, as there's been a crash of some sort. I'm just going to have to go on board with Matthew Alder. I think it's Matthew Alder who's had a possible crash there. There's 2 Toro Rossos and a Mercedes, all had problems. And Diego does improve, goes P4 there. I didn't catch that, but I heard the engines. As the racing points, is that Lewis Curtis and Voss, 2nd and 3rd. Lewis Curtis has not made the mistake. Voss is the one who's made the mistake. Retired on track. Luckily he's going to go to the finish line and not affect anyone. And he's currently in first. As Eltink then comes to the line, goes 12th with a 128 flat. As both Renaults do their laps, Ash goes 3rd with a 127.4. Pedro in 5th with a 127.5. And Matthew's lap there was unfortunately blocked on his lap, and so we can see a nice 3-wide scrap between Eric and Bran, as this is the quality lap ending. They're fighting through the final 2 corners as Bran dives it in Eric. Matthew tries to switch, so we get a nice fight between these two as they finish off their laps. But will the legendary Bottle Hog, oh, unfortunately he's invalidated, and that is qualifying over in the Japanese race. Good evening, Tyler Thomas. Welcome. Also welcome to Rayford. So checking on Go Diego. And right then, we will now go down the qualifying order. Matthew Order then takes pole by almost 4 tenths there. And second place is Voss in the Racing Point. Ash in 3rd. Lewis Curtis in 4th. Pedro in 5th. Jack Leverty 6th. Diego in 7th. Cameron Young in 8th. Jamie Morris in 9th. Ollie Flavel in 10th. Devin in the Ferrari in 11th in his debut race. Elton in 12th, Danestar 13th, both in their debut races, one returning in 12th and 13th. Eric in 14th, Brandon Glover disappointing qualifying in 15th, Jack Yates also disappointing in 16th, and Sondra Sohag lines up the back of the grid in 17th. As we have clear skies then, so no threat of rain at the moment, could possibly loom near the end of the race. As we can see, a Haas there bouncing up and down. Or is that a Williams? Could be Williams. Oh, while we wait for the drivers then to pick their strategies, as I've said, number of laps are 27. The fastest lap last season was from Louis Welsh with a 128.9 in the F1 tier. So Matthew, if he wants to try and beat that, or any driver, needs to beat that time, 128.9, if they want their name for the next season on this display we have. The track length is 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles. Last winner was Louis Welsh. Could that change today? Well, obviously, since Louis is not here.
Okay, I'm back.
As my co-commentator has returned then, as formation lap has begun. As we enable everything. Tyre strategies then. Matthew Order then, everyone in the top 10s on softs of course. Devin in 11th also on softs, same with Elton and Danestar. Eric, Brandon and Sondra go on the medium compounded tyre. However, Jack Yates is 16th on the soft tyre, so Jack Yates is going to have to do something with those softs to get past the medium runners and hopefully not get affected.
Yeah, of course it is I would think it's standard to go medium soft to show outside the top 10, and we just have medium runners around him. So we will have to get through those medium runners to catch back up to the rest of the soft guys. I mean, maybe it was a mistake by him. I mean, it's not impossible that he just by mistake clicked X and didn't get the mediums. But yeah, now that he is on the softs, as he said, he will have a little bit of a job to do.
That's true, of course, and the person I'm surprised is in 8th place is Cameron Young. He's very quick in the Williams, and he is actually apparently going wheel next season, as he's had a bit of issues with Diego there, but he's currently in 8th. Could see a possible charge through the field for him today. Could possibly see a battle between him and Matthew. As right now though, the person who's going to surprise me today, I think Sandro Sohal. He has won round here, and against Brandon Matthew he's won round here. It was a Christmas Classic event, of course. But could the Bottle Hog pull some masterclass off and somehow win or get a podium today, or will he do what Tyler Thomas is thinking he might do, bottle into turn 1 as he goes off there into the grass? As then Matthew Ordinal is lining up the grid very slowly, and Kevin, as I always say, could you look at the back of the field just in case something big happens? We could see cars flipping upside down like Jack Louty had in Germany. Unfortunately, that was an unfortunate retirement for him. Although he is back and could possibly see a podium, as you can see both Racing Point and Renaults in good qualifying positions, as we don't get the best view at the moment. As the light sequence should be starting very shortly as soon as Sondre lines up. He lines up now then. As there we go, the light sequence has started now. 2 lights, now 3 lights, now 4 red lights into the Japanese Grand Prix in IRL Season 7, and the lights are out, and it looks like Matthew's had an okay start. Voss has had a decent start as well. As look at both Racing Points trying to challenge the Renaults into turn 1. Hopefully there's no contact at all. Oh, there's some carbon fibre I see further behind, and that looks like it's from a Williams of Cameron Young. It is. Cameron Young's lost a bit of his end plate there, and possibly a bit of contact between him and Jack Larity, as there's yellows further behind. That's Richard. Richard's gone. He's in 17th. He spun it, and unfortunately I didn't get a good camera angle of the incident because I was focusing on another car. No damage as I can see, but he would be very disappointed for what happened.
Yeah, I've been watching 2 Mercedes. They've gone side by side in the whole of Sector 1. They're still going side by side as Stainsler gets a switch back on his teammate, and he's going to have to back out there as he loses back in. That was a very nice little fight that they had in the first sector, pretty much from turn 1.
That's true, of course, and Pedro and Jack Louty are having a right scrap right now for P4. As Jack Louty did get the move into the hairpin, but Pedro is not a man to give up. This man has won in Germany, could get a surprising win today, and he's really on the back end of Jack Louty, but now he's in the clutch to Cameron Young, possibly.
Cameron Young's made a mistake down on P6. Diego should be able to get by him. Side by side, it looks like he has got it just before 130, or he does up into P6 for Diego, but can Cameron come back though? Diego has to defend to the inside a little bit. He thinks someone in the background locked up, and he is going to get that spot. So yeah,
Cameron's hit the ball. Cameron is out.
And he's out. Could that be the safety car? Full safety car?
Actually, Richard's going in, and I don't know where his car is. I think his car has gone back on track, but that was a heavy impact, and I'm not surprised he retired, and Matthew will not be happy with Cameron. The Constructors now could still be won by Matthew though, with Bran in 11th, but it's going to be a bit more work for Matthew to do to try and hold this win, as we are got a safety car, so people could pit to go to mediums to the end, possibly, or hard tyres.
Yeah, so coming through, as I said earlier, in Sector 1 we had the 2 Mercedes going side by side pretty much everywhere. Really nice scrap. Brandon had quite a good start, getting the better of his teammate up into 11th. I think he started down in 14th. So yeah, Deinster almost got the switch back on his teammate, but just couldn't do it, and Ryan came out on top.
It's true, of course. That's true. As we're now about to see a replay of, I think, start from the front end, as Matthew Orden may peel into the pits. We've seen Rich go on a set of hard tyres into the pit lane. As Matthew then peels into the pits, now we see Mybe then, will be looking at the start. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Apologies. Issue there. As Matthew then peels into pits then, goes on a set of hard tyres as well. Ollie Flavel also goes on a set of hard tyres, same with Eric as well. Sandra peels into pits for Toros, they're both double stacked. And look who's leading. Lewis, Curtis and Jack Laverty. Will they pit, lose track position and have to fight their way through the field, or they're going to stay out on those soft tyres?
Yeah, it's not quite an easy decision, but as so many people behind have already pit, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously it's a lap one safety car pretty much, so it's a very difficult call. I don't think they'll be hindered too much by staying out. Of course, right at the end they'll have fresh tyres, but if there's a safety car again, people who hit before will probably end up benefiting more. So it's I think it's a difficult call, but I think it might be better for them to just pit.
That is true, it is a very difficult call there. A few people have gone on mediums, of course. Boss is on the medium tyre. Same with Elting and Devin and Jack Yates. They've all gone into the pits on mediums. So they're possibly thinking of a two-stop strategy, medium to soft, a quick soft run in case they have to make an extra stop. Sad Thomas says everyone should go mediums or softs. That is very brave stretch calls. Liska stays out then. Same with Jack Laverty. Pedro also stays out.
Jamie Morris comes into the pits. He's of course not pit yet. Still on the softs.
What tyres he will
this
go
is a strategic move from Jamie Morris.
Yep, safety car is still waiting for a few stragglers to catch up. And it's a new front wing there for JME, being in the wars yet again in that Alfa Romeo, which is unfortunate to see from him. But he goes on a set of soft tyres. So, interesting. That is very interesting what tyre choice he's gone on. So he's definitely doing to a two-stop then. Going soft medium. Soft medium then. So, probably a quick splash and dash on those softs, peel into the pits, get mediums and hope in front of the safety car. Could possibly work out.
It's an interesting decision there. I mean, everyone else ahead of him is going to be on mediums or hards, trying to bring them pretty much to the end, and Jamie's going to have to fight through. He's going to be losing time fighting everyone, which is going to ruin his horse. So I really don't think that was the best strategy call there from Jamie.
Yeah, that is true, because I don't think it might have been the best strategy call, but if safety car comes out, it could be a masterclass strategy and he could fight for a podium position. We have seen some weird strategies do this, as TTT just Chris joined. I think he one of the drivers unfortunately missed out today, which is unfortunate for him. No, he's actually not one of the drivers, so someone has invited him, it looks like. Either that, Lewis Curtis will be setting off very soon. Surely this safety car will be peeling into the pits this lap. Everyone has caught up, but I don't expect the safety car doing one more lap. I'm going to say that, Kevin. Do you think Matthew can still win this race on the hard compound tyre he's on?
I would say so. Obviously he's going to be able to bring him to the end. Everyone ahead of him right at the end I think will be chasing him down, especially people like Jack Laverty, Lewis Curtis. I mean, they've all had their fair share of fighting with Matthew, so and Pedro indeed as well, so I think both of them could be close right at the end of this race, but we are green flags. Lewis Curtis leads him away. It looks like Jack Levy isn't going to get close enough into turn 1. The two Mercedes are fighting in turn 1, was it? I think Danes are having a look.
It was Matthew Order trying to get past Boss. Bit of contact there from Matthew. Bit of rubbing tyres, didn't get a good angle. But Lewis and Jack, had a great start after that safety car restart. So right now we'll go on board with Boss, possibly make another move on Matthew Order on those mediums. This fight's all over the place right now. There's a further fight in P9 with Ollie Flavel and the Red Bull. Straps all over the place. Only one retirement, and it was a surprise safety car, of course, with the big crash.
Yeah, and of course, Williams is out. Matthew's teammate, and looking at the two Mercs, they're not in horrible positions. I'd say Brandon a little more than his teammate. Obviously he's started on mediums, he's still on those mediums, so he'll be able to take them a little bit longer, being on the softs right at the end. So maybe he could take the fight to Matthew. Stainstar is going to pull to the right hand side on his teammate. He had a little look going into 130R, but it doesn't look like he was able to make the most of it. Now down the inside, it looks like he will make the move on his teammate, and Brandon doesn't put up too much of a fight, and he gets it up into 5th place.
Yeah, it's true. Bran was being very smart there. Jay did lose a seat in Mercedes, and Dane actually does take that seat. So he will have a lot to do to try and win this Constructors' title. Both Toro Rossos though in 14th and 16th. Both Mercedes 5th and 6th, with Matthew Order in 7th. So right now the Mercedes are having a point advantage and could make the Constructors' title go on another, well, to the final round. We could see a clash of titans between both Mercedes and Williams.
A little thing on Jamie Morris. Of course, he pit for softs. He has worked his way through the field quite decently. The safety car's been in, I think, 2 laps, and he's up into 13th place, currently chasing down Devin and Richards right now. There is quite a train in front of him, so I think he could salvage something from this race, but I think if he stayed out, it would have been just a little bit better.
Yeah, that is true, of course. Jeremy is on the 2-stop strategy, so he's going to have to make something work, and he needs to get through the field quick as possible if he wants to try and make it work in case of a safety car. One of the cars, they go off. That's Ollie. Ollie and Ash fighting ahead. Side by side, a Renault and a McLaren. We haven't seen these days since 2006. And 7 and 8, but right now, Ollie loses the position. Now look at the Ferrari.
The Ferrari of Devon's also trying to get involved. They're going side by side now, so could Ollie lose 2 positions? And he goes right down the inside. He almost hits Rich, but just about doesn't know. It's lucky for him because he almost caused an incident. There is a Ferrari now of Devon is right behind him. He's in the slipstream. There's no DRS and activation just yet. He might be looking down the inside of maybe turn 2. No, he's going to keep behind, but you see Ollie actually seemed to not have the best exit there, so it seems Devon might just be quicker. It seems Ollie maybe struggling a little bit right now.
Yeah, that is true, of course, and Devin is now getting challenged by Jamie Morris further behind, as this is an entertaining battle we are on, but we'll keep an eye on the front as well if any other battle happens. Yeah, a big close
like
fight for the lead.
Jamie has caught up to the back of Devon. Right behind him, I would expect a move very soon. You can see he's got so much more pace. He's taking different lines to try and do something to get past 7.
That is true, of course. As we're going to go on board with Jack Gravity then, if you can keep an eye on that fight there, Kevin. Good evening, Lewis, as we're going to get a little replay there. You guys can see of the action with the Ferrari, Renault and the McLaren through 130R. Right now though, Jack Gravity is a bit closer to Lewis Curtis. Could he possibly now make a move? Such a new fastest lap, 131.3 on used soft tyres. He's really closing the door to Lewis Curtis. Could make a lunge? No, he stays behind at the moment. Eltinks beats that lap instantly, 31.1 on medium tyres. Jack Gravity is really gaining. way through the field. Jack Laverty could possibly get a win. He missed the win last week, I believe by penalties, because Voss took the win there by penalties, which is surprising for Lewis Curtis and Jack Laverty. As right now, Lewis Curtis could be a possible win, as he missed out on a win in Australia against Matthew Orders. Matthew Orders currently in 6th place at the moment. He's also in a scrap there, one of the Mercedes drivers who will go on board as well. It looks like these two are going to get close and personal. 5-lap hard tyres versus 5-lap medium tyres. That's Lewis Marshall there. Is happy and loves the replay feature.
Looks like Matthew Alder might be able to go for a move on Dainstar. No, it looks like he's too far back, but maybe into turn 1 though he has closed up quite a bit, and Dainstar won't have DRS for anyone in front.
That is true, of course, and right now they're at
and
Williams
he hits actually, as does Lewis Curtis and Jack Laverty.
Oh yeah, they're on their scheduled pit stop there, so the soft only could go that long. So JME then is now moving up the 9th, 5-lap hold, soft tyres will need to pit possibly in the next 4 to 5 laps. And then go mediums to the end. He will be on fresh and mediums, of course. However, though, there's a fight for P4. Brandon is in trouble by the Red Bull and the Racing Point of Voss and Elting. Both looking really quick and fast through sector 1. As Brandon it's in more than he can chew. And will he be under threat very shortly as he makes a little error through turn 7 there. And look how close that Red Bull got there through turn 8. He's really getting closer and closer to Brand each time. Could possibly make a dive into the hairpin. Could do a Ricardo move. Is he going to do it? He's thinking right. Yes, he is. He dives it into the inside. Perfectly legal. And Brand covers it off and with traction there. But the Red Bull isn't finished. Sees a gap. He is going for it. Will there be contact? So close there between Brand and Elting there. As a risk point there, Voss is just trying to stay out of it, but possibly may make it 3 wide out of turn 14, going up to a Rouge.
His steering went a little, his revs went a little high. It seems he didn't shift up quite early enough, but he's right behind Ellenting as Ellenting is on Brandon Glover, and he's going to go down the inside. He finds a gap from somewhere as Brand's going to get pushed to the inside just enough. While being left room, it looks like he's actually going to be in the back foot for Voss as well. Voss tries to go down the inside in the Ferrari. Devon's also maybe trying to get involved. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 1. And it looks like, yes, Brand does just keep that. Actually, no, Siegeman did get past him.
Ooh, bit of contact there between Brandon and Devin there, but the contact was actually made at the start in the chicane between Elting and Brand there. Brand wasn't actually expecting the Red Bull to be there, and it just cost him so much time and pace through that final corner. He didn't get good traction, and that's why it was a 3 wide moment between Devin and the Racing Point. As right now though, Brand
with those recent pit stops, Matthew now does take the lead of this race, 3 seconds ahead of Elting, and of course he's in a fight for 2nd place right now, so they're going to be slowing each other down. So I think Matthew is in quite a good position here. Obviously he put it on pole, he kept himself in a provisional P1, didn't lose any spots in any positions after the first few laps, and it seems to be working out for him very well right now. Also, Ellenting is pulling away, it seems, from Voss, so maybe we could see a charge from Ellenting in the next few laps.
Possibly we see a nice side-by-side moment between the red Ferrari of Devin and Brandon Mercedes side-by-side there, 130. Oh, and there's contact! Brandon makes an error and hits Devin, it looked like that. Didn't get the best view, that was an on-board view, and now this has opened the door for Rich,
yeah,
who made
Rich
the
is
pit
going
stop.
to get a much better exit on board with him right now.
Is he going to make a dive? Brand
Looks
goes.
like he is going to maybe go for it.
A little bit more contact there between Brand and Devin. Brand's being very aggressive there. Devin's doing amazing defending. Brand's now experiencing what we have to experience when he defends, and he's just been outschooled there as Brand goes up on the curb, somehow doesn't lose it, and he's now really under threat by Rich further behind. This is a nice fight for this position. Jamie Morris is also in this fight as well, who should be making a pit stop very soon.
Yeah, looking at the battle for the lead, looks like Hamilton is slowly chipping away at that gap that Matthew Alder has, and he's also taking Voss with him. It seems Devon has, of course, fallen a bit too far back. Doesn't look like he'll be in that fight anytime soon. But looking at the guys who pit originally, who stayed out in the first safety car, they're running in 11th and 12th, and Dainstar is still down in 16th. He hasn't been able to make a winning position, so not sure where there he will fit in at the end of this race, but they have a lot of time to.
Well, yeah, there is a lot of time there, and right now though.
Speaking of them though, I have Lewis Curtis maybe going for a move on Eric into the final chicane. He is going to get a better exit than Eric as well. He'll be right up behind him now also. Jack Lefty's going to go for a move. I think he's going to get boxed in. No, it's going to make it 3 wide coming into turn 1, and Eric squeezes him, and both of them get by at the same time. One on the left, one on the right, and of course Lewis Curtis stays ahead of Jack Lefty just about, and they make it up into 10th and 11th.
Unfortunately, we did miss that 3 wide moment as we're on board with Brad at the battle between for 4th place.
Yeah, I have it.
Oh, do you have it? Oh, that's great.
Yep.
Oh, then. Bran then is still trying to catch up with the Ferrari with Devon, but
oh, and Jamie Morris, it seems he almost hit Richard there in the hairpin. It seems like he went a bit deep. Maybe struggling on those softs. Sorry for cutting you off there.
Oh, it's okay. The soft tyre though, yep, is now going on its expiry date. Those softs won't be fresh anymore anyway, but they're not going to last much longer. As we can see now, Rich has had enough of Bran. He needs the position, gets the job done. Bran has nowhere to go. Now Jamie Morris is possibly making a move into the chicane. Bran is, oh, bit of contact there between Bran and Jamie. Jamie decides to peel into the pits. So he's praying for a safety car to make this 2-stop strategy work.
It seems fight for second, and the fight for the lead indeed as well. Alan Tink is now 2.3, 2.4 seconds off, whereas a few laps ago he was 2.8 off, so he is chipping away at that gap. He can see Matthew Alder. It's just a little bit out of reach, and if Voss can just stick behind, they might be able to just cruise up to him. But that will require both of them to not fight, and I'm not sure, given how racy they both seem, I'm not sure how likely it is that they will hold position.
Yeah, that's true, of course. They have been chipping away at Matthew's gap.
Jack Yates made a mistake.
Yeah, he loses 2 positions there, drops to 10th. So is his medium starting to die already? They've only done 10 laps, and softs can go 8. But medium should be able to go around about 16, 17 laps. They should be able to go to the end. Now we all know that Matthew's going to the end because he's on the hard, but Voss is actually really close now to the Red Bull driver Elting. Gets a good enough exit, could possibly make a move. Maybe too far back.
He's going to have DRS as well. He does have a lot of overspeed. Could he be going down the inside? He is going to go down the inside, and he has so much more speed. I think he could have this done before the first corner, and he does. Up into second place for Voss.
Right now though, yeah, Voss made that move quite easily there. And Elting there has to now save his ERS, save his fuel, and just wait for Elting to make a little error. As right now though, we have Matthew Alder's gap starting to increase. 2.5 was 2.4 last lap. It's switching between the two.
Yeah, so the two who were leading before they hit because they didn't use it for a safety car, now they're both behind. Well, no, actually, it's the next two actually of Diego and Fass, who pit a little bit later than Lewis Curtis and Jack Levity. Diego is going for a move. He goes for a switchback on Eric. He gets squeezed to the left. Eric is just about the car in front, so he takes, and there's actually been a massive crash. Not quite, no debris, but Diego's been spun round on the straight there.
We'll get a look at that, as there's no battles at the moment getting heated with Ollie and Brand. The gap's backed off a little bit, as we'll see.
And Jamie Morris gets by Eric there. Eric with no damage, but of course Jamie Morris comes out in fresh medium, so it's no surprise that he got straight past that.
It's unfortunate here about
big
Diego.
incident though, and if you look at where Diego was fighting with Pedro, now he's a few seconds down the road, and it's also allowed Pedro to breathe a little bit because he's no one fighting him. He can just focus on who's in front. But actually, Danestar isn't too far off now. He's only 2 seconds behind, so he could be able to catch up. His tires are a lap older, so not too much difference in lap time. So it seems he is getting a move.
Well, the person who's definitely getting a move on is Rich right now. He's now trying to the Ferrari again of Devin. These two fighted Ollie earlier on, got past him quite easily. And got past Brandon as well quite easily. And right now, they're about to make side-by-side action very shortly in a couple of corners time, maybe a couple of laps time. As I did see that crash between Eric and Diego. Big hefty impact, luckily no damage to Diego. Because I could easily rip that right rear tyre off the way he hit the wall.
Yeah, I'm surprised that neither of them got damage there. It's how, I mean, where they both spun.
Oh yeah, that is true. Like, I mean, it was really surprising. We saw how easy the rear tyre can come off, as we saw Cameron earlier. His tyre just went instantly off somehow in the pits. We'll get a replay very shortly of the incident again. But right now, Ash is really trying to close up on the Ferrari of Devin. Right now, he's just gaining a little bit of time every corner, just a little bit. Probably a couple of thousandths, but it means a lot as one lap 16 out of 27. Just past the halfway point. So as it's yellows in
yellow flag in sector one, that's
Ollie
McLaren.
Ollie bottled it.
Can't be sure, but it looks like I don't remember him being too close to anyone, so I would assume it was on his own. But okay, so that was at the end of sector one. Eric also goes by.
Unfortunately, the track map didn't show me that. As you guys will be seeing the replay a bit ago. Probably would have gone by now. There's a big hefty impact between Diego and Eric though, and Ollie then makes that mistake, which is a shame to see. He was in the points, and now he's in 16th. This is what happens to Ollie. He gets into good positions, and he just lets the pressure or one little mistake get to him, and it just ends like that. As Rich is really trying to close up. It's Brand pits. So Brand, for his first scheduled stop, is in the pits.
Looking at the fight for the lead, Voss was 2 seconds off Matthew, but looks like he's stopped pushing because he's now 2.5 off, and maybe this is a chance for Ellington to turn up his engine, maybe try and close back up that gap that he lost earlier. So we could see a fight between those two again. I actually haven't seen or noticed any Pennzoil race, or unless you have.
That is true, of course. I only saw one, possibly 5 second, but other than that, no other penalties I saw. I was surprised Diego didn't get one by the game because he cut the corner rejoining, but it would have been a silly penalty if that did happen, of course. But right now, Rich is really closing up again on the Ferrari, but he just loses it in the straight. So maybe he's buying his time. He's got a lot of ERS to play with, possibly a lot of fuel to play with. Maybe he doesn't want to activate and wear his tyres out yet, and possibly buy his time near the end of the race, as the medium runners could still pit. We saw Brand pit with 15 lap old mediums. Boss, Elting and Devin could still pit. They've only done 14 laps. There's 10 more laps to do. It's 24 laps on those tyres. 24, 23 laps. will be a big push on those mediums.
Yeah, and it could allow Rich to maybe get by them. As speaking of getting by, he is in the slipstream of Devon. He's gonna pull to the left-hand side of the track. He seems I'm not sure completely. I did get a view of it. It seems that it seems maybe that they banged tires and Ash just went a little bit wide as a result. And now, of course, he's lost about a second or two, so now he's got to catch back up again.
Oh, Jack Yates then has peeled into the pits for soft tyres, so he's thinking about fastest lap. Fastest lap is currently held by Diego at 30.6. So he's looking for the fastest lap then, and I believe the record fastest lap from Louis is a 128.9, so they're going to have to do it on a lower fuel load possibly, and Jack and Brand could possibly do it. There's only 9 laps left. As we'll now get a replay coming up of the action between the Renault and the Ferrari, I believe, or the Red Bull.
Yeah, Ferrari would have definitely close. That would be Devon and Rich into turn 1. Of course, he tried to, Rich go for a move on the outside as Eric retires for a virtual safety car.
Oh, VSC, so he's lost it there through turn 10.
And Devon actually is going to use this opportunity to pit, so perfectly timed for him.
Yeah, that isn't good news for
Put
Jack
on the soft
or Rich.
tires.
Yeah, that's true. If Matthew could get around the track quick enough, he could peel into the pits, go for a set of softs and beat that fastest lap. But possibly not yet, and it won't help the guys who were going on quick laps. For Brand, for instance, if he was on a quick lap, he's now had to back off because of the VSC. My pen's not working. Just trying to work out if Mercedes, with Matthew finished there, I think Matthew may win the constructors actually for Williams. As Mercedes at the moment only going to score 4 points, I believe. Since their size in 8th, Brandon in 13th.
Correct, and that I'm not sure if they're going to take the championship, but to be honest, I wouldn't doubt it either.
Matthew Youssef will get confirmation near the end of the race if the Williams team do win the constructors, as we have another fight further behind in 8th place actually, between Denstar and Diego, fighting for 8th. So Diego is not helping the Mercedes cause. He knows what it's like to be runner-up in the constructors with Louis last season, and he had a bad race last season also, Diego, as he caused a bit of a crash, and Matthew was involved, costing the win actually as well. But Diego's kept it clean today as Eric has left, and he's on a mission to score some points. As right now though, he's really getting close to that Mercedes, possibly going to make a move into the Senna and Prost chicane. Just buying his time to try and get better traction on the Mercedes. That bump knocks him off a little bit, it's possibly a bit too far back, could possibly make a late lunge. Is he going to do it? Yes, he's thinking about it. Through turn 1, Denstar sees the move, closes it, and great defensive driving there from the Mercedes.
Yeah,
Good
they
position.
need a, I just did a small little thing, they need a 44 point gap after this race, and right now they have an 84 point gap, and they're going to score more points than Mercedes, so if it does stay like this, they will take the constructors.
Well then. Well, they would have taken the constructors then anyway, even if Matthew did finish. So they would need both Williamses not to finish, basically. They wanted a 44 point gap.
Yeah, they have an 84.
So yep. Right now then, Matthew is doing what he needs to do to win the constructors at the moment.
Right, and to clarify, by the way, it's not like an 84, like right now, plus 25 points that Matthew gets, like, from standings from last race. They have an 84 point gap. So
the 84 point gap is from
Mercedes would need like a 1-2, and Mercedes would have to not score any points for Mercedes to have any chance.
Gotcha. There's now a rather three-wide fight now between the Mercedes, Diego and Devin. So Devin, with those new softs, is a lot quicker and sets the new fastest lap, 1:29.8. So he breaks into 29s. Diego's going on the outside. Tries it this time, doesn't make it work. Tries to Kimi Räikkönen. Not close enough. He's really trying to get into that dirty air, just to try and find one little mistake Dane will make. Diego is being very time consuming, being very patient. Could possibly make a move later in this race, as I don't think he will, even if he makes that position, catch up with Pedro in 7th. As Alex Pavel sets the new fastest lap, 1:29.3, so we're getting closer to Louis' time. Will anybody else challenge for the fastest lap, or will Louis keep it for another season? This fight is really getting closer and closer, the only closest fight we actually have on track at the moment. For the Haas team, this would be great news for the constructors in the points, as they actually, let's have a look at standings again. Haas are in 5th place, 66 points. Ferrari are right behind them with 63 points. So, but Ferrari's only going to score a point, it looks like. Diego's going to score 2 points.
Yeah, Devin is closing on the straight coming into 1/3 yard. Looks like he might be going for a dive. Well, no, he actually backs out. So, sensible driving there from him. And now actually, Densor seems maybe slightly on the back foot, but when you get on the straight, you can see Densor seems to just have a little bit more straight line speed. And no one can really make an overtake, but he's going to try it again, identical to last lap. He has some luck on the outside, but just can't make it work.
Yeah, I know what Densor is trying to do. He's trying to make, not Densor, sorry, Diego, what Diego's trying to do. I think he's trying to make Densor to make a mistake into turn 2, so he can try go on the outside, but then switch and make the inside line through turn 2 to get a good run. But it's affecting him. He needs to get a lot closer than that to make that work. And he's going to be a lot braver on the brakes. But right now he's really under threat. And if I was him, I'd just let Devin through and let Devin challenge Dane to make another mistake. He's on a faster tyre compound. As his yells in sector 3, is that Volhau? It is. He made an error. Doesn't spin or anything, but he made an error. And the yellow flags have been lifted. However, this 3-ride battle still remains. Gap between Matthew Alder and Voss, 3.1 seconds. Voss won last week. Could Matthew get a surprise penalty and make Voss win another race in a row?
Oh, and Richard coming into the pits.
Ooh, he gets a 5 second.
Out of 5 seconds.
Quick C track limits. That possibly might get removed. It isn't a speed in the pit lane, it's an exceed track limit unless it was a genuine pen. Ooh, bit of contact there between Devin and Diego. So Voss is in, so he can't make those means go any longer. And as I said earlier, Rich could be on for the podium, and same with Jack Lavity if he can make those tyres last a little bit longer. He's got a bit more tyre life in them. As these two, oh, and here comes the Ferrari. He's done what Diego couldn't do, and with the grippier tyres, Devin gets the position. At the moment, of still side by side. Yellow flag's further behind. Sondre's crashed. Sondre's binned it through the bump, through the final corner, and the traditional Bottlehaugen yet again making mistakes through the final corner. He did it in Italy. He's done it again, and he's not going to be happy with that. And he will be under threat very shortly by Oli Favel in 15th.
Yeah, 20 lap old hards versus 4 lap old softs. Seems pretty obvious who would come on top on that. But looking at whites in general, it looks like Jack Levity is closing up to Richard.
Yeah, that's
third.
true.
Of course, Richard has a 5 second pen for now, but we've got to fight somewhere other than P8 now, which is nice to see. And Lewis Curtis isn't too far behind either, so if they start fighting, we could get a 3-way battle for 3rd place. Of course, Richard also 22 lap old hards compared to Jack Levity's 15 lap old mediums as he gets very, very close in turn 2. Almost.
Voss gets the move done on Pedro. Quite easy manoeuvre. Moves up to 6th. His teammate is up ahead by 8.4 seconds. A big task to do, but could be pulled off. As his yells in sector 2, I think Sandra slowed down or made an error there. and those tyres what he's on are starting to fail, and Ollie is closing up.
Yeah, and I've just saw Eltink just got a 3-second pen. He has the gap he needs to Richard for now, and I wouldn't say that the gap would be getting smaller, especially that Richard is under threat from Jack behind. But it does mean that he has a little bit more work to do if he wants to keep that second place.
And remember, we can't count out Elting either from a puncher. He's on 21 lap hold mediums now. I did say that it will be a push to make them to the end.
Oh, and Ollie and Sondre both in the pit.
Sondre's going to try and go for the fastest lap. Never thought I'd see the day from Sondre to do that.
Yeah, it seems both of them are going for it. Or maybe they're looking to fight each other. I'm not sure which. But
there's a fight right now for third as Jack Laverty is really closing up, but doesn't activate his ERS to mode 4, just leaves it behind. Boss sets a 28.8.
That's a new fastest lap.
Has he beaten the record? Yes, he has. He set the new fastest lap. Louis Washington is a 128.9. So Louis' fastest time has been obliterated by a tenth. So Boss has the new fastest lap for Japan around here. It's very good to see. Ash though is really under threat now by Jack Laverty, as the McLaren and the Toro Rosso Sondre only need to pull away from Matthew as long as they don't get blue flags.
Yeah, Lewis Curtis has caught up to this fight for third. As I said, that will probably happen. It has happened. He's just outside DRS, so he'll be involving himself in that fight right at the end, with only 2 laps to go at the end of this lap as well. So it is going to be a run to the line for this P3.
That is true, of course. There's also another fight for P9 there, Kevin, if you can keep an eye on that as well. Between Diego and Devin. Looks like Diego is actually catching Devin's 6-lap old softs. It's very interesting. It's actually a 3-way scrap also between Dane Softs still. As Ollie and Sondre are having a ding-dong battle. Sondre's gone off, it looks like, to turn 1. Made a little error. Looks like on the track map.
Devin is looking at a move on Danestar. Looks like he's going to stick behind for now, as he does do just that into the chicane. He gets a slightly better exit. Danestar seems to have corrected his car. A little bit of oversteer. Danestar's going to defend to the left. He's going to go back to the right, squeezing to the wall. And it looks like this time Devin is going to get the move as he tries a switchback. And yes, Devin is going to get that move up into P8.
It's going to there for Devin then into P8 now, and that may have unsettled in for Diego. Right now though, Jack Laverty has won the penultimate lap of this race. There's fights all over the place. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that, but Kevin did get to see the fight between Devin and Dane. But at the moment, if Lewis can catch up just a little bit more, he could challenge both these drivers and secure a surprising P3.
And we also actually have a fight for not being last between Ollie and Sondre. Looks like Sondre will go for it. It's actually into the final chicane. He had a look.
As you can see, they are close, but they're going to have to be careful not batting too much because there will be a lap down. Ooh, Jack Laverty almost rear-ends Richard there.
Diego. Diego's going to go for it around the outside of 130R. Both of them leave each other space, and he's made a very good move as Danestar keeps it in there as a little bit of and it looks like Danestar turned into Diego there. Brandon Glover also goes by. I'm not sure if Danestar lost the rear on the bump. He might have, but it didn't look the best from Danestar there.
Right now though, Jack Laverty has got one chance now. He has to go through 130R. Matthew is approaching 130R very shortly. And we will see another action-packed battle further behind. Elton looks like he's going to stay second. Remember, Ash has a 5-second penalty, so if these ain't got penalties, he's going to lose the position in it unless it gets removed. But will Richard have any other penalties? As here comes Jack then. Closing up. Will he make a move into 130R? As he goes, he's thinking about it, going on the outside, into the chicane. Oh, turned into him. There's contact between the Renault, has to give the position back, and he does just about. Elting has a 5-second as well.
Jamie Morris and Dainstar are still fighting it out for P9 right now. Jamie is going to look on the outside. He's going out the inside for the final chicane. They're still side by side. Dainstar's going to try and keep it. They're going to go side by side. Running over right behind this as well. It looks like Jamie's going to just get him to the line, and he does. Just P9 for Jamie Morris. And if you look at how his race started with pitting onto softs instead of mediums or hards, like most people, I think that is a pretty successful drive.
Oh yeah, that is true. And Elting actually had a 5-second penalty, and Jack Laverty and Lewis Curtis moved second to third. Jack Yates finishes 13th, as we can see. The two
we still have a fight.
The two bottlers, Sondre and Ollie, are fighting off for the final position. Who doesn't want to finish last? Ollie, if Ollie wants to do and beat Sondre, he needs to pick up the pace. As we should just get another replay you should have seen a bit earlier of the finishing line.
Yeah, Sondre's going to go to the left, Ollie's going to be on the right, they're going to be side by side into the final chicane. Who is going to
Ollie's done him dirty.
Spot.
Ollie's done Sondre dirty, that was amazing.
Sondre's going to actually be side by side.
Bit of contact there.
Ollie just hits it.
But Ollie did a perfect move into that chicane, closed the door completely. Sondre couldn't just dive it there into the final corner, and unfortunately Sondre finishes in 15th with Eric DNF in 16th and Cameron Young also DNF in 17th. As we will get the top 3 for the podium interviews, as Matthew Order then takes the win, and I believe the Constructors has been settled there. Kevin, am I correct?
That would be.
So the Williams team then have done the double. They won the Drivers' Championship with Matthew Older, as Matthew Older was a 2-time champion again from last week. And the Constructors now have been wrapped up from another team Matthew's been in. He was in Renault last season, they won it. Now he's been in Williams, and now they've won it. So put Matthew in any car, and it looks like the Constructors is going to win for their team. But however, I've got to say, both Racing Points there have been picking up their game a little bit. Could be a Constructors threat if they team up next season. As now then, we will go through the official results on the game. It could change through penalties or stewarding. Matthew Order then takes the win. Jack Laverty in second, Lewis Curtis in third, Elting fourth on his debut race, Voss in fifth, Ash in sixth, Pedro seventh, Devin in 8th on his debut race, a good result from him to score some points for the Ferrari. Jamie 9th, Dainstar in 10th, also an okay debut for him in the Mercedes, but disappointing not to win the Constructors. Brandon in 11th, Diego 12th, Jack Yates in 13th, Ollie Favell in 14th, and Sondre the Bottlehound in 15th. And the DNFs are Eric in 16th and Cameron Young in 17th, having that weird crash into the pit lane.
Yeah, overall I think the racing today was actually really good. We had battles pretty much the whole way through for pretty much all positions around the track. I mean, we had a prospect for a fight for the win, although that didn't turn out as we would have hoped. But yeah, fights pretty much everywhere around the grid, people coming through the grid in quicker tyres, and yeah, I think it was a really good race.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed the race as well, but we will go on the interviews. Matthew Otto unfortunately has left the session, left the party, but he will rejoin hopefully. But we will start on board with Lewis Curtis then. Well, Lewis, I believe you finished second? Third, I apologise. You finished third then. Unfortunately, you tried the strategy to stay out when the safety car started on lap 1 with a weird crash with Cameron Cole. It was on his own mistake there. Did you think you could have a chance of beating Matthew on his game today, or was that, with that strategy you tried, out of the question?
Probably out of the question. I was just aiming for probably a top 5 at most, which I got in the end of the podium.
That's true, of course. You got that podium because Richard and Elton got both 5-second penalties for exceeding track limits on certain corners. But with a third place, you must be happy with that. It's been a while since you've been on a podium. I can't remember what your last podium was.
Probably Australia with a P2, but yeah, I was quite happy with the podium, especially since I did no practice going into it whatsoever, and didn't actually have a setup. So yeah, I'll take a P3.
Oh, that is set up there. You did very good there. And I've just got to say, the teamwork with you and Voss, could we possibly see that next season in Season 8? Could you two be a team and challenge Matthew and whoever his team it is next season for the Constructors fight?
Probably not, I'm too inconsistent. But I'll hope so.
That's good to see your honest opinion. I ain't got any other question, besides the final question I will ask if Kevin's got any questions to ask you.
No, I'd say just congratulations on the podium and good luck for the final round. Maybe you can snatch another.
Well then, the final round then is Brazil. How do you feel you will be there with the final round of the season, of course? Do you think you could get a surprise win, a podium, or do you think just score points for the Racing Point team is your objective?
I'll just be happy with points. I'm not very good at Bristol, to be honest. I'll probably end up in a barrier. But yeah, I'll try my best.
Well, that's good to hear you try your best. Hopefully you don't crash in the barriers. We have seen some weird crashes today. But good luck for Brazil, and hopefully we can see you on the podium again.
Thank you.
Well then, the two-time world champion, the two-time Constructors champion, Matthew Alder. Matthew, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, you are there. Well then, I've got to say, did you have a good race today, or did you just have a relaxed day as nobody really challenged you for the win?
Yeah, I drove quite good. You know, it took me a couple of laps to gain a rhythm because I had to get past a couple of people. But once they all appeared, it was in fresh air. It took me a couple of laps, but I was getting in a good rhythm. Hard for me, I didn't expect, but I gradually kept getting faster over the race for a long time.
Oh yeah, that was good to see there, and you did some good pace on those hards, managed to keep that gap between you, Voss and Elting. Unfortunately, Voss had to make a pit stop because he couldn't make those mediums to the end. Same with Devin. Did you think there could possibly be another safeguard though with the hard strategy? Were you actually going to think about gambling on the mediums, or was with that safeguard coming out the hards with a plan to go?
When the safety car come out, I knew that I would probably lose more time doing mediums than if I did hards, because of I'd be surprised if the mediums made it to the end anyway without getting a puncture. So I definitely thought hards was the way to go.
Well, one quick question before I move on to Kevin, if he wants to ask you any questions. With your teammate crashed now, did he tell you what happened in the car, like how he lost control in the pit lane, and was it a surprise to you, unfortunately, with his retirement in today's race?
I didn't expect him to retire, but he said that I mean, it's kind of hard to explain, but he said it was a very confusing crash, to say the least.
Well done. Which he told you, and then you give his opinion on it. Well, Kevin, have you got any questions to ask the Constructors and World Champion?
Yeah, of course, first of all, congratulations on your Constructors, and of course drivers from last week, fully deserved to get the double. But last week you said that you would be a little more aggressive, and of course today you didn't really get to be more aggressive because you were just controlling the race out in the lead. So you think maybe in Brazil, if maybe you have a bad quality or something like that, you think that you could you bring out that aggression that you were talking about last week?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm quite average at Brazil compared to other tracks like Japan. I think I'm quite good at Japan, but Brazil, I don't even think I'll get pole, to be honest. I think I'll have to get my elbows out anyway, because I'm just not that good at Brazil.
Okay, and then talking about it, do you think you could challenge for the win? You're saying that you're not quite as good around Brazil as other tracks.
I think it will depend on other people for that. Like, I know Jay has a 2-race ban, and I know Jay's quite good at Brazil. So I think maybe a win is on the cards, but less likely than it would have been today.
Well, congratulations on your win and also Structures Championship, and good luck for next week then.
Well, Matthew, thank you for the interview, and as Kevin said, good luck for next weekend. I'll also say the same. But well done, and congratulations on both titles, wrapped up by Williams. And let's see what you can do for the next round and the final round. Well done, Kevin. It's been a very interesting race, a few incidents which will be solved and everything. But I think my highlight of the day today, I think, was Cameron with his weird crash he had into the pit lane. What is your highlight of the day?
I would say in general the battles that we got to have, because all of them were very close. One that sticks out, I think, was the lap 1 between the two Mercedes guys, side by side through pretty much the whole first sector, and pretty much only ended coming up to the hairpin when Dennis didn't get a great exit. So I would say that would be my highlight.
Okay then. Well, as you guys can see, the podium finishes are Matthew Ward, Jack Laverty and Lewis Kurtz with this amazing graphic which Paco Suarez has put together. And yet again, I'm going to thank Paco with the OBS for the stream today. It's been awesome to have on the stream. We'll have it for the final round as well, and we'll have it for next season full time as well. But this has been IRL Season 7 F1 at Round 11 at Japan. Your race winner is Matthew. Your constructor winners are the Williams team. Your driver's champion Audi was decided last week, which was Matthew Alder. If you guys want to see some more action-packed racing, do subscribe and hit the like button, as IRL F1 will be on 6 o'clock next week. But if you want to see F2 and F3, will be at 4:30 UK time tomorrow. I've been your commentator IRL Neon, or as Jared Fosbury. Been joined by my co-commentator Kevin, or as Aspect. Paco's been in the booth as well. Unfortunately, you guys won't be able to hear me. He's been doing all the OBS stuff, which has been great to see. Thank you for both interview viewers to join, Lewis Curse and Matthew Order. And we'll see you guys next week.